Hello, and welcome everyone back to Simple Statistics. Today we're going to be discussing statistical notations, also known as the symbols. I'm going to just be explaining the symbols today that correlate to whether it's a sample or population parameter or statistic, like different types of data, but the actual definitions of the terms will be explained in another video because each one will need their own explanation or else the video will just be too long. So anyways, let's hop straight to it. Let me just put this back up here. So for a proportion, and for sample data, it is denoted as P hat. It has a P and a little hat on top, right? Kind of funny. So it's P hat, all it is. And for a population, proportion is denoted as simply P. So that's for proportion. Proportion is P hat if it's a sample, and P for a population. Now, moving to average for a sample versus a population. In a sample, we'll use a different color here. In a sample, the mean is denoted as X bar, spelled as X bar. And this is for a sample, once again. And for the population, the mean is denoted as mu. It's a bit of a tricky symbol to draw sometimes, but it's denoted as mu, which is spelled like mu, pronounced like mu. And for standard deviation in a sample, it is denoted as S, lowercase s, the Latin. Let's type that down. The Latin letter S. And for a population, standard deviation is denoted as sigma, the Greek letter sigma, pronounced as sigma. For variance sample, variance is denoted as S squared. And we'll dive into a different video on standard deviation and variance and how they kind of work together. But variance is standard deviation squared. So it would make sense for, in the population parameter, once again, for variance to be sigma squared. And if you've noticed a trend, that all of the sample statistics, all the statistical notations for samples, usually are Latin letters, but in population, it is usually referring to Greek letters or capital letters. Because it's sample and population. Once again, going over, we have two types of notations for different data types. Once again, for those who don't remember, a population is the vast sum of the whole of the data, and a sample is a piece of that information, something easier to work with that you can actually dive into and do some analysis, usually in larger settings, more cost effective and more actually realistic. So for sample statistics, which we'll be using more in these videos because they're a bit more easier to work with, P hat for proportion, X bar, which is the average for a sample, the standard deviation denoted as lowercase s for a sample, and standard deviation squared, which is variance, so that's S2. And like I said, the samples are usually denoted by Latin letters, and for population, it's usually denoted by Greek letters. Terrific. Thank you guys for watching in, and until next one.